For those who don't know, I serve in a dual capacity here with Miles. I serve as the board chairman of the Academy Charter Management Organization, which is the governing board of our organization. I've also served currently as the executive director of this organization. So it's a dual place to have feet in both sides of this organization, but it's in order to make us effective. And so that's my introduction. For those who met, I'm a native Memphian, grew up here. Actually from New Orleans originally, but grew up in Memphis, a graduate of actually Nicholas Blackwell. Anybody know what Nicholas Blackwell High is? Yes, exactly right. That's exactly right. I also pastor a church here in the city of Memphis, in North Memphis. I've not always been a preacher, so don't mess with me. I was asked out of Memphis City Schools back in 1987. That's why I ended up at Nicholas Blackwell. But I am thankful again for this opportunity. I want to give just some housekeeping notes as we get ready to move forward. You do have parking cards. If you have your parking where you've parked, you will validate this at the end of the day. At the end of the day, you will have this validated. There are also, for housekeeping, obviously there's refreshments out. There'll be breaks. You'll have opportunities. The bathrooms are out the door. I think they are to across the hall. So you'll be able to find yourself an opportunity if you need to relieve yourself to go from there. And so we just want this opportunity we have together as a time for learning and a time for bringing ourselves into one frame of mind. So one of my purposes for these next couple of minutes is to talk about our goals and what they are here for. Why do we come? What are we here for? This is not the professional development that you are going to have in July. It's not what it's about. It's about recognizing that we've been through a whole lot of changes. Amen. If I was in church, I would just say amen, Rev Johnson. We've been through a lot of changes. And we want to be able to figure out how to be successful in the midst of change. We want to be able to figure out the person sitting to your left, to your right, to your front, and to your back, how we can help our sister and our brother be effective to accomplish our goal. What's our goal? Why do you get up in the morning to go to work at Mars Middle or Mars High? Not everybody at once. Somebody tell me why you get up in the morning.
To successfully educate.
Not you. I want administrators to talk. See, he could tell me you got to hold yours down a little bit. Come on, let me see. What's your Miss McCaskey?
For the students.
For the students. That you mean that, or you just telling me that?
I mean it.
You mean that? Who else? Come on, Brother Mills.
To ensure the success of our young people, especially African American young men, to get a quality education, but also to be successful in life.
It's very targeted, very focused. African American young men, helping them be successful. I saw my friend raise his hand back up here. Raise, tell me why. Why do you get up?
Just improve from where you had the previous day. Looking for one step.
To improve yourself, to be better than you were the day before. Come on.
To serve.
To serve. Talk about that. Help me with that.
Teaching is a position of servitude. So not only do we serve our kids academically, but more and more kids are underprivileged or coming from the disadvantaged community. So we educated, we wearing more hats now. We serve them in different capacities.
That's great. Anybody else? Anybody has a burning reason that may be different from what's already been shared?
To encourage our young people.
To encourage the child does.
Accepting the call.
Accepting the call. Come on.
To be the model.
To be the model. Talk about that. What does that mean?
The model in not only, we talk a lot, but also walk it. It's in our articulation, our embracing them daily, the way we dress, the whole perception of for the kids.
Modeling for the young people. All they see. Come on.
And it's important, and I think a lot of teachers miss out on it. We always say students, we always say student achievement, but it's also supporting each other. You all have to be your own network, because especially in this environment, you have to be able, we don't have an outside entity that's gonna come in and help us. So we have to get on one accord. Like he said, we went through a lot of change, but it's about time for us to start to support each other.
We are here.
I got amen.
All these answers are important. None are incorrect. We are here to be effective, to learn, to enhance ourselves individually as well as corporately, to support one another, to be effective in our job, to reach the clientele that we're trying to reach, to leave an impact. One of the good things that no one said I just came to get a check. Somebody was thinking that, they just didn't say it though. You were thinking, you ain't gotta raise your hand on that. But the fact of the matter is, there's nothing wrong with getting up because you have to pay your bills. Nothing wrong with that. But the question is, how effective are you going to be doing what you do? If you haven't read the paper, if you haven't watched TV, we have a daunting task. You all have a daunting task ahead of you. I don't like to say it, but I am. The reality is, as an outsider looking at what you all do, I recognize that you have a daunting task. Every day you have to get up. You got to have something on the inside that makes you want to go sit down and have a conversation with kids that sometimes don't want to listen to you.
Absolutely.
That sometimes don't want to pay attention to what you're trying to teach. That come from circumstances that they don't see you in a position of authority or see you as somebody to help. They see you as a barrier or an obstacle to them getting where they want to go. There's got to be something on the inside of you that gets you up every morning to keep coming back, and it can't be the check. Can't be. So there has to be something effective that's going on inside of you, rather, that helps you become effective. What our goal is today is trying to make sure that we don't snuff that out with silly stuff. What does that mean, Rev Johnson? I'm glad y'all were thinking that. Silly stuff is the dynamics that go on between grown folks that may be inappropriate, that may help us be ineffective when we should be more effective.
Gotcha.
If I was talking to church folk, because I know if I was talking to my church folk,
Yes, sir.
I would tell them, the kind of stuff that folks act way that we act in church is that folks get mad about stuff that happened 20 years ago and they can't let it go.
Sure.
Somebody stepped on our toe
Right.
and they get mad because somebody else doesn't step in on their behalf. Somebody sits in their seat when they come in.
Right.
Folks mad about that and they hold on to stuff. And what it does, it truncates the witness of an organization if there's internal strife that keeps us from being effective. We can't be effective if you get up in the morning, you don't want to come to work.
Right.
Head hurting,
Gotcha.
stomach ache, finding a reason not to show up. Then you come in and you look frown and look at your principal's crazy. The principal wonder why you upset. Then you go into your classroom and that nonverbal communication communicates to your children that you're not really interested in them, what they've got going on. You've lost them already. Nonverbal communication is 90% of the communication that we give. We got to figure out how to help each other be successful so we can be effective. Everybody gets up in the morning. You ought to want to be where you are. One thing before I got too much, I'm going to get out the way. One of the things that we went through this transition, when we transitioned, and this administrative team can attest to it. One of the things I said to all of us is that those folks that want to leave, let them go. Don't hold anybody back. Open the door, smile, help them get their resume together, help them be effective. Call ahead and say, I got somebody good. Don't give any bad references. Help folks get to where they want to go because they don't want to be here, don't want you here.
Sure.
I think that's fair.
Right.
Nothing worse than being in a relationship you don't want to be in. Amen, Reverend Johnson. Looking at each other across the table, mad, mean mugging each other. Folks can't stand to see you when you wake up.
Right.
Arguing about the wrong stuff. It's the same thing happens in a business, in an organization. If you don't want to be where you are, or you're not excited about being where you are, then you cease to be effective. The goal of our time is to encourage each other, to learn about each other, and be and covenant together to be effective, to take care of the kids that we've been assigned to, and to take care of each other along the way. I'd rather work with somebody I halfway like that may not know what they're doing, because together we can figure it out and have fun along the way, than to have somebody that know it all and I can't stand, that I'll never talk to. And if people will see it, it will injure our ability to be effective. Why did we come? We came for each other. For each other these next couple of days. So we can be effective and be the best Moms 2.0 that we can be. Does that make sense? Sister Nikita Reed is going to come at this time to take us to the next part of our program. I think this is on.
Good morning, good morning. All right, can I get that first slide? It's always challenging to come behind a minister. But it is a challenge for me this morning as well. I have a hard time separating in-service from this retreat. And the reason being is that my teachers, just bear with me. I got all these committees going on in my mind. I'm trying to finish up everything before July 15th. I will be on a C-17 leaving. Thank you, sir. For a couple of weeks, military duty. And so trying to make for sure everything is in place for the students, the teachers, the parents, and the community. But it's going to be okay. So keep me in your prayers, I'm telling you. All right. Okay. So this morning, I need my right hand, the face of Maz, Mrs. Anderson, Ms. Benson, Ms. Jackson. I'm going to get it right. Ms. Breckenridge. Ms. Polk, would you come down front? These are the faces. These are our forefront. They're in the office, and they are the face of Maz. And we're going to do an activity this morning as an icebreaker, but we're going to start with these young ladies. Yeah. Including me, Reverend Johnson. And so what it is that sometimes they really protect us. They're always positive about the school. They always turn to their parent and say, calm down, it's going to be okay. Don't have all the information. And so this morning our icebreaker is, and Ms. Anderson is instrumental in this icebreaker, the face of Maz. F, write one fact about yourself. A, write one adjective to describe yourself. C, write one positive character trait you have. And E, why is educating children important to you? Or if you want to share anything about education, each one of us will have 1.5 minutes, and then we will get to start with these young ladies. Who wants to start quickly?
Okay, well, I'll start.
They can be right. They can multitask.
Should I, they don't need the little card.
No, they can write in their steno pads they have.
Okay, F, well, my name is Mary Anderson, Mary, M-E-R-R-Y. I changed it because it fits me. F, I'm actually kind of funny. I really am. I do stand up for comedy sometimes. The A, and I actually wrote it down, I'm married. C, and this just kind of blends in, one positive character trait, and I think it's a good one for me. I'm a Christian.
All right.
And why educating children is important to me. It's something that as a Christian, we're actually commanded to do, is to educate them. So I think it's important to do what the Bible says, being a Christian. I kind of tied that all together. That's me.
My name is Pat Jackson, and one of the facts about me is that I'm very task oriented. I just didn't see what's hard back there. I like to get things done, and I like to get them done the right way. Describe myself, I'm friendly. What's the positive character about me? I'm friendly. I'm nice. I'm easy to get along, very easy to get along with. And why is educating important? I love to see kids that have had an impact, I'm not a teacher, to come back and see them in college, improving in life. That's just one of the best feelings I've ever had, to see it. Miss Pat, this is what I'm doing. So that's why I think it's important.
All right.
Good morning, my name is Teresa Breckenridge. And one fact about myself, I'm gonna give you 2 facts about myself that's gonna combine for both of them though. I grew up one of 9 children, and I have 4 children. So I grew up around family and children. One adjective to describe myself, caring. I care about the environment, I care about our children, I care about our teachers and our administrators too. One positive characteristic trait I have is probably, that's been told to me over and over, is that I am an encourager. So that's positive for me. I try to encourage others and keep them lifted up. Why is educating children important to me? Because I know the difference that education can make in our children's lives. It can take them to places that they've never been before. It can give them opportunities to leave and to come back and to serve and to give, and it can make such a tremendous difference in their lives. Even though when they're going through and they're not listening to you and they're not wanting to hear you, it's important for them to know. And we try to encourage them, even though we're not teachers, we try to encourage them to listen to your teachers now, because it's going to make a total difference in your life for later. Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Diane Benson. One fact about myself is I am caring. That's one fact. And one adjective to describe myself, I am concerned. My biggest concern is our children.
Sure.
And that's always going to be a factor with me. One positive character trait you have, I would say caring as well, and also being obedient to his word.
Sure.
Last but not least, why is educating children very important? Children are our future. So if you can get across to one child or one student, and that student turns out to be positive, we have made a dent in the whole world. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sierra Pope. One fact about myself, I am a mother. One adjective that I would use to describe myself is genuine. Kind of what you see is what you get. And I believe even in being genuine, I'm very caring and loving, and I just believe in loving on people and our children. One positive character trait that I have would definitely be my concern and my heart for others. Sometimes a lot of people say that my heart is just too soft, but that's just a part of my concern. I care about people. I care about what's going on with them. I care if they're having a bad day, because I believe that sometimes I can impact the day positively. And the reason why educating children is important to me is I'm a piggyback off of Ms. Benson, because they are our future. And in my first fact about myself, with having 2 children, it's very important to me that I impact other children just the way that I'm teaching at home, so that when they get out, they know how to act in public. And then with us working at malls, they can get out and they'll represent us positively. So that's why it's important to me.
Thank you, ladies. Now at this time, if you would jot down your reason why you're the face of Moms quickly. Give you about 3 seconds. One is gone. Now get up and let's do some moving. Find one individual that you do not know and share. Introduce yourself quickly. So has everyone agreed that one individual, one educator? Change one more person, one more individual, one more.
You just move back here, right?
Like high school, my dad
What school you gonna be at?
special education.
All right, you were over with Henderson. I forgot that.
You had to have your
Yeah, I know what that was about.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. Awesome. What we quickly want to do, we're gonna go down the rows here, and the only thing we want you to do is state your name, what you're teaching, middle or high school, and I'm sure that you had an opportunity to meet your other faces or moms, and then we'll do something with that in a few minutes. So we're gonna quickly stand, state your name, what you're gonna be, your role at moms this fall, and yeah, that's it. Yes.
Hello, my name is Chandra Williams now. She was Richard Summers got married a few weeks ago, and I'll be teaching English at the high school.
Teresa Breckenridge, Financial Secretary at the high school.
Pat Jackson, SMS and records in high school.
My name is Terrence Osby. I'll be computer tech guy for the middle and high school. Thank you.
Tendrick Estes, I'll be the instructional facilitator for the middle school.
Darian Hester, the high school girls basketball coach and physical science teacher.
Vidari Watkins, head boys basketball coach and in-school suspension.
Kristen Anchorage, sped for the high school.
My name is Anthony Loving. I'll be teaching 8th grade math, middle school.
Andre West, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Use the mic. Andre West, PE, assistant football coach, high school.
Tasha George, Reed 180, middle school.
Hi, my name is Linda Edwards, and I teach 6th grade social studies.
Carlos Patton, middle school, special education.
Megan Montgomery Davis, I'll be teaching the best grade, 6th grade science.
Katrina Mallory, I teach STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, middle school.
Good morning, Tara Henderson, 7th grade math and praise dance sponsor.
Good morning, Davida Hunt, 7th grade ELA, middle school.
Good morning, my name is Ticia Carter, middle school counselor.
My name is Linda Sims, and I'm at the high school teaching personal finance and mathematics.
Trisha Ainge, high school, college prep.
Eddie Chavez, chemistry, high school.
My name is Tahong, I teach math at high school.
Cedric Granger, I teach art at high school.
Darnell McCurdy, computer applications and business education at the high school.
Terrence Baldwin, high school history.
My name is Marvin Mims. I serve as a mentor
of young men at the middle school, and also the middle school baseball coach.
I'm Vernon Gibson. I'm going to teach 8th grade American history.
I'm Amy McCaslin. I teach 7th grade science.
My name is Kale Jones, and I'll be teaching keyboarding at the middle school.
Good morning. My name is Jasmine Jackson. I teach 7th grade reading at the middle school.
Diane Benson, SMS coordinator, Records Club at the middle.
Good morning, Lynette Williams, school assistant, middle school.
Autumn Peterson. Yeah, with Alexander. Coach P. I teach middle school health and PE, 7th grade team lead, building test coordinator, safety coordinator.
Tara Powell, Counselor High School.
Miriam Kane, 6th grade mathematics, middle school.
Olandria Williams Ware, 8th grade science, physical science, middle school.
Jennifer Leak, previously creative writing and ACT prep at the high school. Might have to change this year, so I'm not exactly sure. But Talia Garrett, high school science.
Lori Liggins, 12th grade English.
LaShawn Jones, English at the high school.
Stephen Woody, I teach 11th grade U.S. history.
Joshua Poulos, high school math.
Judy Babb, high school, Spanish 1, 2, and hopefully 3.
Courtney Franklin, discipline coordinator.
Sierra Pope, secretary at the high school.
Wesley Martin, biology, high school.
Latera Hernandez, high school, English.
Tracy Boyd, special education, high school.
Sophia McPherson, and history at the high school, full government, and girls track coach.
Reginald Smith, I work at the high school and middle school, janitorial service.
Corey Johnson. Robert Williams, I'm a financial analyst at the Midland High School, and I also serve as the boys basketball coach and a lot of other stuff. She said stand up. And I guess the butt of all jokes. And I gotta walk the mic. There you go.
Thank you, Coach. And also, again, we want to thank Mr. Smith. We wanted Mr. Robertson here, of course, but he's cleaning the middle school, making sure that it's ready on July 14th. So again, teachers, we want, Mr. Smith, would you please stand? Mr. Smith and Mr. Robertson, I have to do something very special, or we need to do something very special for both of these gentlemen. I'm going to tell you that I really, and we have to include their wives, because I text them at 9 o'clock at night sometime, and I said, Mr. Smith, tell your wife it's the principal. And things happen, so they just go and unlock the building and make for sure. And so I'm always busy at the school, and Mr. Robertson, he said, Ms. Reed, I got this, just go be the principal and all. And so they are doing an awesome job. Again, we want to give them a round of applause. And during in-service, we will have protocol procedures for submitting tickets to them, get things done. I call it sometimes monkey management, where people are walking around the building and say, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. And I tell the teacher, we don't monkey manage, it needs to be done in decent and order, because by the time you get from one end of the building to the next, you have forgotten. So then you're saying, oh, they didn't take care of that. It's not that. It's everyone's giving them small tasks to do. Okay, so our agenda, thank you, Mr. Smith. Our agenda that we have been charged with, Mr. Estes and myself, is what this collaboration means to you, little 10 ready and TVOS. And the reason why this is the only part of this retreat that we will get into a little in-service. I shared with you, I had a difficult time separating it. And it is because all these new things are coming down the pipe, and it's very important that you get your mind set also for the fall and start planning and breaking down those, taking those standards. Common Core standards are part. I know that they're not calling it Common Core, it's just 10 Core, but that's what it is. That's just to ease down the pressure with the parents in the community about Common Core. But, so we'll share with you some 10 ready information that is to take the place of the TCAP and TVOS data that we will talk about, also the updates. That's going to be very important to teachers. So at this time, oh, I have the clicker. So we, the middle school teachers and maybe some of the high school teachers, on last week attended 2-day training, 10 ready training. If you have not attended that training, middle and high school teachers, make for sure the dates are next Thursday and Friday, and also the last week in June. Is very important to attend the training. Even if you have not registered, show up. Milton High School, Arlington High School, okay? Please do, because there's a lot of important information that you're going to be held accountable for that's going to tie into your TVOS data, and we'll get to that, all right? I want to do the video. Can I click it, or how does that work?
You gonna keep going? You gonna skip me?
Oh, excuse me. Oh, stop. You want me? I'm sorry. I do not have the agenda. I asked Mr. Alexander to give me the agenda, and I skipped. and I asked Alexander, and I skipped over.
Put your hands together for Principal Reed.
I was just gonna watch her and see how fast she was gonna go. You know, she gets going, she'll keep on moving after this. She passes off on you, didn't she? All right, we're thankful. We do have an agenda. Everybody have their agenda in front of them? Hold up so you can see everybody has their agenda. All right, next on the agenda is about Ma's cultural conversation. We wanted to prep you before we got into some of the business stuff, and she started running down the aisle. Some of you middle school folks, I know how to pray for y'all better. Amen. We're going to get started. We've had a lot of cultures. Have you been here less than a year? This is your first year with Maz. You haven't started yet. Why don't you stand to your feet so we can see our new people, new folks. All right, all of our new folks. All right, you all have a seat. All of my folks that have been here longer than a year, you've been here a while, you've been here longer, y'all stand to your feet so we can see you all. I know my sister back there is suspecting you. Just wait, she waved her hand. Amen. Y'all sit on down. That's good. We appreciate. We've had a lot of stuff that's going on. This part of our time is about culture change, and I'm going to use some of the conversations that I've had individually with folks to help us shape where we are and how to deal with cultural change. So when you're new to an organization that's a change, you're trying to come in and see what the culture is like. And if you've been here a while and you've seen culture change, you're trying to figure out whether you like the change that's going on. Does that make sense? And so I've had some conversations. I'm going to use the high school counselor. I didn't ask for permission to talk about some of our conversations, but I'm going to use it because she helped me understand some stuff that I was not cognizant of. About when you come into an organization, we're going to talk a little bit about how we got to where we are, so you all have some understanding, and then get an idea of what it looks like as we move forward. Is that okay?
Right.
So those that have been here, you know this school is the first charter school to open in 2003, founded by the 100 black men. It laid the legislation to bring charter schools into existence. Memphis Academy for Health Sciences is that. We had a dynamic first leader that took over this organization, Curtis Weathers, that took Maz to great and outstanding heights. Those who work for Mr. Weathers, you can raise your hand. Outstanding leader that did an excellent job. And there comes a season when individuals want to continue to move forward. He chose to move on and do what he is doing in his career. And we celebrate the work that he had left behind, and the work that he took on moving forward. But when you have someone that has been in a position for such a long period of time and as solid and as fantastic as he was, that's a cultural change when he leaves. Everybody starts looking and wondering what's going on, what's going to happen next, do I have a job, what's going on? What does it look like when you have such an intellectual capital that was invested in one person, and then you got change going on, folks that end up following, leaving, and folks not sure what's going on. That has to make you feel queasy in the stomach, those that have been here a while. Difficult, wasn't it? Not knowing. And then you have folks just show up, Reverend George running around talking about stuff. Folks don't know me, and I just walk through. Folks don't know why they listen to it. They just looking at me. Who was that? I didn't say nothing. Just kind of came through, kept going. Showed up in one meeting, left out. Principal, we moved this man out of one position in the high school, brought in somebody else that lasted for a little bit, and then ended up finding somebody else. That's change, is it not? Makes you feel queasy in the stomach. Didn't really understand what was going on with the middle school. We had, we moved one of the middle school leaders up and had a transition out of that leadership and brought in another dynamic leader. Middle school folk had to figure out what that meant. Long-standing change. Makes you feel queasy in the stomach. Nobody really talked about it. We didn't really think about it. And so and as we look back over the last year, we had to eventually stop and figure out what's going on with us as an organization. Where are we going to be? And so in conversations that I had with Ms. Powell, she said, I don't know you. You just showed up one day telling folk this, that, and the other, and left. I don't know you. And it dawned on me, I think I'm a nice person. Okay. I ain't did nobody here, have I? Ain't stole nobody's money, ain't did nothing to you. I think I'm a nice person. But that's an assumption that folks just know that you're a nice person and want to listen to you. They don't know you, there's no relationship, it's not going to be effective. Our focus from an administrative thing was not the day-to-day operations. My focus was I was given an edict by our board to right the financial ship, which meant I didn't need to be involved in everyday operation. I need to figure out, make sure the dollars were where they're supposed to be. Folks got paid on time, everybody got paid. Everybody got checks and stuff. Amen. What's we're going to have a meeting after this meeting. A lot of change, and so that was really the focus of what was going on. And so, but in that conversation, it dawned on me that those who had been here a while, what you all were dealing with on an everyday basis. So I wanted to show this first video snippet. He's coming in a second. We're going to show this video snippet. Oh. No, not that one. Right there. Yeah, right there.
This is my family. Y'all talk about your scratch? As you can see, we really had some good times. Yeah? It's my sister's baby. Oh. Well, we've had some bad times too.
I'm spying for my job today. You don't want to tell a woman that a black woman, especially a black woman, you ain't got a J-O-B.
Sometimes it seems like no one's ever gonna speak to each other again. Then Big Mama comes to the rescue. She knows exactly what to do to bring us all back home.
Soul food cooking is back cooking from the heart.
Fox 2000 Pictures present Vanessa L. Williams, Vivica A. Fox, Nia Long, Michael Beach, Mackay Pfeiffer, and Brandon Hammond in a story about the people who make us strong and the recipe
I just want to say thank you for always supporting me. You my sister.
that makes us a family.
I just want you to know having you is like food.
One finger, don't make no strike a mighty blow. And this family got to be that this
Soul food.
Like that last shot, right? That last shot was the bomb. Keep doing like that, baby. When you get older, you gonna be able to get that contract. Okay, that's right. That's right.
Soul food. Put your hands together for soul food. How did you feel when you saw that? How you remember that movie? Y'all remember? How did you feel? Y'all can talk. How did you feel? Warm and fuzzy. Connected. Love that word. How did you feel? Is there only two people who felt me that?
Nostalgic. It reminds you of your own family.
Reminds you of your own family.
Your own family and, you know, personal in your career. You know, how do you make it a family and get people to understand we have differences, but we focus, oh, it's not too much.
How'd you feel? You felt good. You had 5 basic emotions, you know, mad, glad, sad. She went off intellectualized on us. How did you all feel? Y'all gotta talk to me. Come on, Brother Mills.
I felt inspiring.
Inspired. What makes you inspired?
Because we all have division, family, whatever organization, but there was the grandmother brought it back.
And that's something. When Irma Hall, Big Mom. Irma Hall she's deceased now, but that soul food moment at the Sunday dinner at the table. When she had all the folks sitting around and explaining to them their purpose and their role. That was a powerful thing. How else did you feel when you saw some other folks? Come on.
Emotional changes from happy to sad.
Right. The clip took us to a lot of different spots, and if you remember the movie, you remember when Mikhail Pfeiffer had lost his job, I think it was in that one when her bird had gotten a job. I talked to the old boyfriend, and when he went to the job, the old boyfriend came and sat down and reminded him that how he got the job. That was some dirty stuff. So you get the whole lot of emotions in it, the connectedness, all those different feelings. What else? Who else? Any other? Everybody got it? The idea of that whole thing, that's a family. When I talk to individuals, that's what I've heard from Maslow. It was a family. It meant something. And when the thing about this family was, Principal Reed was alluding to, that everybody sitting around the table wasn't perfect. It didn't matter. Why? They were family. Didn't matter. Didn't matter that they talked about them being incarcerated, but still they made a place for them at the table. When you were worried about having a job or not, they were concerned about, but when they shared the information, they knew they'd still have a place at the table. When the sisters fell out each other, you know, they had gotten to a place, you remember the movie, they had broken fellowship, and Mama had to bring them back to the table. That was that, you know, we got to be that fist together, we can accomplish. That's a feeling of connectedness, that no matter what it is around you, what the person brings, we're all going to work it out. That's what I've heard, that the folks who had been there a while, no matter what we may have thought from the outside, the feeling was we all going to sit down at the table. We all going to figure out who's going to do what. Doesn't matter whether you're good at this or bad at this. At the end of the day, we're going to get it accomplished. And so when we had change, that went away. Did it not? Can you talk about how you felt? Anybody? I see heads bobbing. What did it mean when it changed?
There's a disconnection.
Come on, Brother.
Well, I wasn't full-time, but I was, I'm in a circle. And so there was uncertainty. People weren't sure what Mom's going to be here the next year or two. I mean, those kind of things.
All right. What else? Thank you. Sure, this is the time to talk. I'm about to hold it in you. Well, because we have a counselor here too, we need to have some conversations. Come on.
There was some hurt because you're losing not only their title in the school, you're losing a personal relationship that you have, that bond that you have and the support that you had is gone.
Uncertainty, loss of relationship. What else?
Fear.
Fear. Talk about that.
Just fear about the unknown, what's going to happen, how things can change in a minute.
Right.
And you don't expect it.
A lot of folks felt helpless.
Helpless. You want to talk about that some, Alexander?
Helpless in the sense that everything was happening around you and you felt like you didn't have any control over it. So when you came to work, it was just, I want to do what's best for the kids. At the same time, I don't know what's going to happen. So that helplessness weighed heavy on a lot of folks. And I was hearing that from the start.
What else? This is good for our folks that are coming in to hear as culture changes, so you understand that we have some good days or some bad days and understand where it comes from. What else? Confusion. Talk about that.
I was not, last year was my first year, so I didn't know the people, had not formed the relationship and the bonds that are being referred to. I felt warm and fuzzy. I felt more positive in this environment than I felt in any other environment. And yet there was that angst in the conversation of other people. So I was confused.
I figure out why wasn't everybody feeling warm and fuzzy?
Right.
Who else?
I think, piggybacking on fear, you think about when you remove people from those positions of power who are actually running those schools, and you bring in new people, employees get concerned about what the new culture is going to be like, because when you bring in a new leader, there's going to be a new culture. Everybody's not the same. So now you got to figure out how to readjust, how to change your game up so you can fit in, so that you are in the good graces of the person who's running the school.
Right. It's bad.
There was an extreme sense of nervousness with almost everybody. We didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what was coming next.
All right. Yes, sir.
Me coming in and listening to everyone, the one message I think I'm getting from everyone is everybody now is forced to adapt. A lot of times when you're in a situation and you've been in it for so long, you're content. And when you're content and this has become normality, when you have to adapt, a lot of times it's going to take you through the various emotions that everyone is naming now. And some people can make those adjustments, some can't. But I think that's the common thing there is now we have to adapt to change.
Yeah. Who else? Who has been here a minute and want to share what you were feeling? Come on.
I would say disconnected. We as a people are generally creatures of habit. So, some of our old habits had to go away and had to conform or adapt to, the change.
Well, I'm waiting on you. No, I'm waiting on you. You to say something.
Perseverance.
Perseverance. Come on, Coach P.
I would have to say self-reflection, just because at the time you started looking at okay, well, what am I not doing? Do I need to do this differently? Like you scattered.
Right.
Because you wanted to make sure, because you didn't know why everything was happening. So it could be anything. So let me make sure everything
Make sure you don't have any holes in your game.
Exactly.
All right.
And you don't want to, I'm sorry.
Sister Anderson back there in the back. I'm skipping my friend because she hadn't ready to speak yet.
I've always believed in Mars. I think the thing that bothered me the most is not that I was always in the loop, but I was not as informed, because I tell you, I am the spirit of Mars. I am a cheerleader for Mars, and I represent Mars wherever I go. But I always knew in my heart that this is a great school and will always be a great school. So I believe in the leaders, and I still do.
We're gonna show another clip. I'm a Trekkie, so I had to get this in some kind of way.
So, what is the blue complement of a vertebrae? About a dozen officers in bed. With someone on the planet. I swear you will not finished yet. Bones, you and Sue to the transporter room. The rest of you with me. We have a job to do. Commander Klingon vessel. Prepare to board this ship on my next signal. No tricks, Kirk. You have 1 minute. No tricks. Under control to me. Top is out. Come up. James T. Kirk. Request security access. Computer, destruct sequence 1, code 1, 1A.
Computer, Commander Montgomery Scott, Chief Engineering Officer. Destruct sequence 2, code 1, 1A, 2B.
Computer, this is Commander Paul Chakov, Acting Science Officer. Destruct sequence 3, code 1B, 2B, 3.
Destruct sequence completed and engaged. Awaiting final code for 1 minute countdown.
Code 0, 0, 0. Destruct. 0.
Destruct sequence is activated.
When I came into Mars, that's where I was. I was Captain Kirk. And I was set into a situation to where, and we're going to talk in here, is that all right? Where everything wasn't as he thought it was. Every duck wasn't in a row. Every cent wasn't where it was supposed to be. Every process was not correct. There were things that were out of order. So I'm coming in as Captain Kirk. And wasn't no discussion about destroying the Enterprise. Didn't meet with the crew. They're already damaged. It's just, we got to figure out how to survive. So you have the folks who have been here waiting for Sunday dinner. When we going to sit down and talk? When we going to communicate? When we going to figure out our assignments? And here I am going destruct sequence 1-1A on this, because it's got to go in order that we survive. Two completely different processes. Neither is bad. The problem is the failure to communicate in between both processes in a way that you all expected, who had been there, who were expecting to sit down and have the same feelings, but you don't have the same feelings when the person is coming in. I got the anxiety of, if this thing fails, the folks that's gone are going to look back and say, ha, I told you. They should have kept me around and given me everything I asked for. And I'm kind of competitive. I'll own that. I don't like to lose nothing. Is that right, Bernard? We've been fighting since 6 years old. Don't like to lose anything. So what I own from an administrative, from a board process, is that I didn't sit down and have the conversations because the folks wouldn't have understood, in my opinion, whether it was true or not, what the necessity had to happen and things that had to be changed and folks that had to be let go and things that had to be different in order for us to be successful. I was still in Kirk mode. In the Enterprise, in other words, everyone has a job. Joyce has a job. Alexander has a job. Williams has a job. Go do your job. We'll figure out the rest of this stuff so the thing doesn't blow up completely. Does that make sense? What it does not do, what I'm saying here to you all, is not to dismiss what you all needed. It's to acknowledge we didn't do the best job about communicating to you all that needed Big Mama to sit at the table. Didn't do that. I apologize for that. Should have done a better job of sitting down with the middle school when we had transition from Dr. Biles, a long, stalwart person, and sit down with the middle school people and say, hey, this is what's going on, even though there's things we cannot say. There's some things we can't talk about because we have some other things going on with that. There were things going on at the high school when we transitioned out. We thought we made a good decision with a leader. It was not a good decision. We had to fix that. If we didn't, it would have destroyed everything. But probably could have had some more conversation about what we could talk about. And it's impossible for you all to believe that Captain Kirk knew what he's doing when it looks like I'm destroying everything running around you. I get it. But I want you to know that today we've been successful. And what we have done is the reason why we're able to sit here in a nice space like this. And we don't have lunch, aren't we?
Yes, sir. And payroll tomorrow.
And payroll. We had to make some very difficult discussions and conversations. What I wanted to acknowledge in this time is that the Maz culture had two competing cultures that have been battling each other. And today we're putting both of those to rest. We can't go back to Big Mama. Big Mama died. Ain't gonna be no more Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon dinners and all that kind of stuff, not that way. Nor is it going to be, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that, and no one talking, you just we don't have a conversation, you don't know what the hell is going on. That ain't gonna happen either. We're going to ensure that our communication and our processes on both campuses work, and that we're going to be able to communicate effectively between each other, and we're going to be the best Maz 2.0 that we possibly can be. But what has to happen to my longtime people, I want to acknowledge Sunday dinner, but I need you to let Sunday dinner go with Big Mama at the table. If you remember the movie, Big Mama died. And the folks, they got to doing their own thing and running around, but somebody then stood up and said, what we're missing is to have the dinner, not the way they used to because she's dead, but in a different way. That's what we're doing. It can't be what it was, but it can be something different. And all we need is your commitment on both campuses to allow it to be something different. Does that make sense? Yes. I want the organizational chart. What I want to do is show you before I get out the way, we're coming up on a break in about 10 minutes. We have an organizational chart. What has to happen is we have to recognize that the middle school is unique in its own way, and the high school is unique in its own way. But both are a part of the Academy for Health Sciences Charter School Management Organization. And so the board itself changed its name from the Maz Board because it's not just the Maz Board. It's the Academy Board, which the Academy logic behind is that the hope is to expand in order to have other schools join in our network. What's happened in the city of Memphis, whether you realize it or not, is that education has been assaulted and been taken over by external LEAs or charter management organizations, and Shelby County and the Achievement District are trying to figure out who they are going to authorize in order to open up schools. The charter wave is coming. It's here. SCS is not going back to be MCS. It's not going to be SCS anymore. And in a few years, I would doubt if what it looks like right now will even be what it is. Charter schools are not going anywhere. We are also being forced to streamline ourselves, where you no longer can be a place where if you didn't pass a test over here in Shelby County or Memphis City, you come be at the charter school and not worry about taking your test and just hang out and get waiver after waiver after waiver after waiver. That's done. It's July 1st. No more waivers. No more being outside of the box and claiming innovation and not being able to meet the standards along the way. That's gone. Which means we've got to meet the standards. Does that make sense? What's also is that organizations are being held accountable for how they manage the resources that they are given from the state through these authorizing agencies. Charters are getting their butt kicked right now because they don't know how to manage the physical house. Misappropriating funds, salaries out of whack. Some of you all have been asked to make adjustments. It's because we were out of whack. We had ridiculous, unbenchmarked salaries across the board. It wasn't anybody's fault. Not you all's fault, right? Let me say that. And so we're being forced to line ourselves up because what's going to happen, they're going to try to pick off charter schools for lack of physical. They're charter schools right now. I meet with operators that are worried about whether or not they're going to be able to stay open is because they don't have the business acumen to manage the resources. Does that make sense? So we had to create we had to step in with business sense that allows us to be able to be effective. So this is what this looks like. This is actually not the latest one, but I'll adjust that. Anyway, the Charter Management Organization, you see I serve in the board chair. I have a very active board. I've been meeting with the board the last couple of weeks. It's an open meeting when those who want to come to those board meetings. We meet every quarter. The next one will be our annual board meeting, July 12th. Anyone has an opportunity to come and address and see. We have a very strong, you have their brief bios in the handout. But they have given a direct edict to me. One of my conversations yesterday, or a couple days ago, with one of the board members is that one, they affirmed the direction we were going, but they also said we've dodged a bullet because it was so out of whack that we could have been in the paper. But we've righted the ship. And so I serve in both of those, not hopefully not forever, but for at least the next year as we kind of get things in organizational fashion. Reverend Joyce is over here as our Director of Administrative Operations. Our financial analyst, Robert Williams, is in that Director of Finance and Accounting role. It's actually the wrong title, but he'll serve there. And then you have our middle school principal and high school principal. Why is that significant? It's significant because these are collegial positions. And so that means is high school goes on to the middle school, you have a concern or an issue or a process, where do you go to get it solved?
Principal.
Say that loud. Middle school folk, where do you go? Principal. No matter what it is, you need to talk to the principal. Give them the opportunity to deal with the business. Operational, programmatic, financial, all goes through your middle school principal. High school folk, you got problems, something going on, where does it go? Say that loud again. That means you don't get called Rev Johnson. You don't call the middle school principal. You don't call your friend at the other campus. Amen, Rev Johnson. We give the opportunity for the leader to be effective. Does that make sense? And so what happens is this group of individuals meets weekly. So any concerns that are on the campuses goes up to the principal and then is able to be met and vetted with that administrative team on a weekly basis. And so give them the opportunity. And so that's different because the old way was what? Do what? Go to Mr. Weathers. What else? Call your friend. What y'all doing over there? What y'all doing? How y'all doing like we over here? They're unique, but they're also the same, but you can't operate the same old way. Does that make sense? Allow the empowerment, because the admin group, we got to manage the house. Resources that are coming in, making sure that those things are going, the things are effective. The day-to-day operational things are principal responsibilities. Trust the process. If there are issues and challenges, you're not getting the response that you need to get, then there are ways to deal with that also. We'll figure it out. The point being the culture, I want you to see that you can look and see that. I've asked each principal also, and I haven't gotten them yet, your individual organizational charts for your schools, because you need to see that. Because you have leads at your school, correct? You have leads at the high school. And so to understand how to resolve, the whole point is, if I know where I'm supposed to go, what I'm supposed to do, then I can follow it, right? Does that make sense? This is something about military veteran coming out.
Yes, sir.
So if you know who to talk to, then you know how to resolve it. We can get it taken care of. Hopefully not any problems that we got going on. But the point is, we want to make sure that everybody knows what to do. And then we can be held accountable for doing what we're supposed to be doing. And therefore, the folks who know their job can do theirs. Those in the administration can make sure the things we have to do are doing what we're supposed to be doing, because we can then be effective in making sure the resources are where they're supposed to be. So you all don't have to worry about anything other than being the best educator that you can be. If you got to worry about whether or not your insurance, you know, y'all had that wrong. Don't raise your hand. Don't raise your hand. Don't raise your hand. Don't embarrass us. We know some folks that went to the folks and stuff didn't work and this didn't. That kind of stuff is not going to happen moving forward. All right? That's not going to happen. We're going to make sure you have what you need, supplies and things that you need in a new process, and how we're going to make sure Title I stuff is where it's supposed to be. Financially, you're secure. We're in a better place we've ever been financially. We're going to remain in a better place. We're actually launching our fundraising arm in July when our board member comes back from his 6 months in Vail. I love telling that part. One of our board members spends 6 months in Memphis and 6 months in his other home. But he said to me, Moss is a great story. Moss is a tell story. And I know where the money is in the city to get you some money. I love a board member like that. Didn't that make sense? So I had a $1.9 million ask. He said, look, when I get back, we'll get that, the rest. Ain't that nice to know? Yes, it is. I should have been excited. I wrote it myself. That's our responsibility. If we're financially insecure, that means I'm gonna go back doing whatever I was doing. We're gonna get rid of George, get rid of myself, get rid of all of us if we have financial insecurity. If we fail to have the organizational responsibility or integrity, then we need to get rid of the folks that are in these positions. Does that make sense? I got a couple of minutes. Do you have your hand? You want to say something?
No, it's 1 minute.
1 minute, thank you. Questions. This is a great time to ask questions. Questions? Anything you want to say? Anything? If I can answer, I'll answer. If I can't answer, I'll say I can't answer. Yes, sir.
And this is for the old folks, and I struggle with this like everybody else.
You say seasoned folks. Seasoned folks.
I'm considering myself older now. As we start thinking about the first charter schools over the doors, I was driving down the street this morning and I was thinking, would you rather be the first or the best? And I think that's what we got to start getting our mind focused on. Let's continue to be and strive for the best, the first and the best. So as we start going through this, we have to make this transitional change in our minds, in our philosophy. As we say first, let's make sure we focus on best.
I think it's a great comment. My last comment, I'm gonna get out the way. Ms. Rita probably raise her eyebrow. I'm biased toward high school athletics and sports and high school, not negatively about the middle school, just biased because that makes more sense to me. I taught college, and so I talk more grown people than the middle school kids, you know. But the fact when you talk about being the best, that's the reason we're talking about uniforms for our kids, how we present ourselves, that we look a certain type of way, that we project ourselves, that the men are collared shirts and appropriately carry themselves. They're not sagging and adults. Amen. Right? That our female teachers come appropriately to come to work, not to happy hour.
You're on target.
We want to project ourselves in a certain type of way. I want folks to hate to see Mars come, because folks hate success. I'm going to be biased when I talk about LeBron James. I'm going to be biased. Folks hate success. He lost, but he's still the best player in the world.
But when he gets 6 rings, we'll talk.
Okay, that's fine. Bill Russell got 11. We'll talk. But people hate to see success. And I don't mean this disrespectfully to my non-African American folk. We have a hard time as African American people, culture-wise, to celebrate the success of folk that look like us. We have a hard time. And so Mom has an opportunity. When I talk about hate to see us come, when you're in meetings and with all the other charter schools, we ought to stand out. Absolutely. Not only on our appearance, but also in our intellect, our content knowledge. We ought to know. How we carry ourselves we're going to be meeting with the athletes, with the coaches and stuff. How we carry ourselves on the sideline.
Right.
How we look. You can't. This generation of kids, they don't respond to all that blessing them out. They don't. All that yelling and screaming kind of stuff. I mean, that may be a style, but it may not be the right style in 2015. So your coaching should be done in practice. Amen, Rev John. We don't be affected just for the Mills.
Rev Johnson, thanks for all that you shared in your leadership and all the staff. Of course, I coach the middle school baseball team, and I have the same like spirit of you, competitive, being the best and winning. One of the things, and I've been involved with Miles for 6 or 7, 8 years, not longer. One of the things that concern me when I attend high school games, that there's not parents there, there's not teachers there, and so the reflection of those high school games is a reflection of Miles.
Right.
When you see kids out on the field playing and nobody's in the stands.
Yeah.
So that's just one thing, and so all that is a part of Mars, that high standard. You know, there was a fear when Mars came. There was a fear in other schools, and so I just want to express that. But my one question I have for you is, you talked about all those things that went through when the director changed. How did that affect attendance, and are we rebounding from that?
That's a great question. As far as enrollment,
yes, sir.
The principals, your current enrollment is today for middle school is? What's approximately 300? 439. So we've been approved organizationally for an additional 100 children. Our charter was initially 300 at the middle and 400 at the high school. We've been approved for 400 at the middle and 500 at the high school. As of today, at the high school, we have 439 kids. At the middle school, we have a little over 300 kids. We ended the year at 317, 314, and 393 over here. So the answer is always gone up. And so back to your comment about, one of the things I did find that I do appreciate about the middle school was the softball stuff. I went to the middle school softball championship game, the girls softball game, and I was taken aback by the stands being full of my middle school parents. That's a very positive thing. And so on the high school, if it was happening culturally, a lot of people just drop their kids off and let their kids go. But that's something we want to engage on, putting on the principals as they engage their families and their clientele to help some of that. And the teachers, that's exactly right. And the teachers were there, so that was really, really good. So we're going to encourage that. We're encouraging participation to support these young people. We've made some great hires across the board. I'm very proud of these Hester and Watkins at the high school with the basketball. I know Roberts in the back, we have a lot of them. You've done an excellent job for the Mims. Cedric Miller is my last comment. Our high school coach that we brought in from Southland. That was a big hire here in the city of Memphis, and he's really doing a great job already. He's not here with us today. His father passed away yesterday, and so keep him lifted up as he's traveling. He called. I've known Cedric for a few years, for the last, at least since I've been back in Memphis, the last 8 years or so. He coached my nephew and done an excellent job. But keep him lifted up. His father passed down in Florida. He was trying to get to see him before they put his father in hospice care, and he passed away yesterday. So keep him lifted up. This is going to be a great few days. I know we're up against the break right now, 5 minutes over. We want to give you an opportunity if there are no more questions. You just have to decide that you're ready to accept what Mars is going to be. Are we ready? Thank you very much.